each other down.
And real queens always fix each other's crown.
We're a team of time to pass the love around.
Cause it's only right when it comes to Christ, yeah.
And real kings always hold each other down.
And real queens always fix each other's crown.
If we're a team, it's time to pass the love around.
Cause it's only one when it comes to Christ, yeah.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. This is T Mac. This is Wisdom for Your Soul Saturday. And today my topic is when we look at genetics, what product did we pick up from those people? And I want to explain that part into much more deeper, because when we look at life and we look at the different struggles when it comes to different insecurities, different fears, different dysfunctions, we rarely can answer where those things come from. And when we look at something like, say, an orange tree, that seed had to be planted from somewhere. And when we look at that seed and as that tree grows older and matures more and more, it starts to produce oranges because that was an orange seed. So we have to evaluate our lives, how we feel, how we think. Where did we get those attributes from? Any issues that we or struggles we have in life, where does that root comes from when it comes to our life? And we look at that from a root perspective, but when we also look at what we believe and our different habits and our different behaviors, where did we actually adopt those things from? And what we do is we walk through society day after day after day and think that these things are normal, but we never chase back to everything that I do genetically. Where does that come from? You know, it can be whether if you've been in a house, we seen R. Kelly, the documentary and all of that, and the things that happened in his house. So his belief system was based on his environment. And I'm not saying that he was right. I'm not saying that. I'm just giving a situation of something that can linger on in your life based off that. So when we look at those type of things and we come to ourselves and say, okay, where did I pick that up from? You know, it could have been any type of rejection, a rejection from a parent not being there, a rejection from abuse. Those things start to show up in our lives. And when we look at that, then we start to look at, okay, God is the same way. But God is not the same way. Paul was one of the people that said about when we talk about sowing and reaping, in his letter to the Galatians, he was saying what you sow is what you reap. So if you're sowing bad seeds, or you sowing the generational curses, those are the reaping of our harvests. And so it doesn't matter whether the sowing is good or bad. We know that whatever is going to be reaped is going to be based off the sowing. And I'm not talking about monetary. I'm talking about how you speak, how you talk to people, your kindness, your unconditional love, your willing to help, how you handle different personalities, listening to what you say and how you say it, having the ability to understand and not respond. All of these things will be what you reap. And a lot of times we have to understand that when we were coming up, our upbringing, how were you safe? could you really rely on the people in your life? And also the relationship of your parents, whether they were married, not married. But how was the relationship? So the reality is we reap all of those things through our lives, and we got to understand how we can deal with them. So we have to make sure that just because we inherit those things doesn't mean we have to stay there. One of the things in life, we have to detox from what we understand and look at the newness of who you are. The newness. You can sit down to say, out today I want to be a new person. Understand the way God said how we need to be new. And with those things, you can become new by listening, understanding, reading the Word of God. Find people that have been successful, and see what books they wrote when it comes to anything, whether it comes to breaking generational curses, whether it comes from any type of dysfunction, when it comes to anything. Somebody has done it out there and you can find it. But today you can wake up and say, I want to be a new me. I don't want the same product that I will be the same product or who I used to be. And the choice is yours. And so just remember, ask yourself, the things that I do and the things that I say, where did those things come from? Who did I pick those things up from? You have to be honest with yourself. That's the only way you can deal with those things. So today is Wisdom for your Soul Saturday. This is T Mac. Have a wonderful weekend, and just remember, just because you were a product of what you come from doesn't mean you have to be the product of who you are now and going forward. Have a wonderful day.